Cheers, welcome to my channel. This is a bonus full moon lunar eclipse for the month of February tarot oracle reading. And Aquarius, you are the star of this astrological insight. If your sun sign is not Aquarius, we still all have a little bit of Aquarius in us. If you do have your birth chart, which house is Aquarius in, that's where this energy would show up for you. This is a general or collective reading. My goal is to provide powerful information for you, so make sure you take into consideration that parts of it may or may not resonate with you. Also, this is a timely reading, meaning that if you're watching it now, it is the perfect time for you. Having said that, what was going on in your life, if I have posted this a while back, check that out, and it may give you further clarity as to your situation now. We're going to begin the tarot part of the reading, and then for the first 2/3, and then I will move on to clarifying with my oracle. Here we have the Two of Pentacles. So the Two of Pentacles is the underlying energy from the bottom of the deck, and it is representing the energy for this reading. So this is talking about being very busy, having a lot to do, and multitasking. So multitasking is a great skill. Having said that, we have to be careful that we don't multitask to the point where there's more quantity than quality work. And being able to make sure, because otherwise we have to circle back and end up redoing everything. This is also talking about, hold on just a second here. Oh, sorry, it was my cat. I was wondering if she was using my my couch for a scratching post, but it's a box that she's found, so it's all good. Sorry about that, just had to double check. So this is talking about, you know, you can get really busy and this can create momentum, and then you will end up being in a situation where you're redoing everything. This represents juggling options. So it can talk about having to juggle, like maybe you work 2 jobs, or you go to school and you're working to pay for it, or juggling your home life and your family life, you know, or business life. This can also talk about juggling morals, and what this card basically says is juggle your options but never juggle your morals. And then we have the underlying energy for the what ifs, the internal forces, is the Queen of Pentacles. So there's a lot of pentacle energy here for you, Aquarius. It's funny because I just did the reading for for Capricorn, which is right before you, and there was no pentacles until the very end. So now maybe we know where all the pentacles went. But this is talking about the Queen of Pentacles. So she is sitting on her throne, and she is focused on this pentacle. Pentacles in the tarot represent the energy of health, wealth, happiness in the 3D, like your actual lifestyle, basically. A big part of that, of course, is money. But having said that, you could have all the money in the world and still not be living the lifestyle that you want. So this queen is more concerned with quality over quantity, and that's talking about this energy again. And it's and also having the lifestyle, like as I said, if you have a lot of money but you're so busy working that you never have time to enjoy the benefits that the money brings, then it's really not serving you in as strong a way as it could. And so yeah, this is talking about generational wealth. This is a lot of money. It's a legacy that you can pass down to your children and your children's children. So, okay, right, to begin the internal forces, we have people celebrating. There's 3 people here, and they're toasting each other, but no one's looking at each other. So they're actually toasting an event or something that has happened. The cups in tarot generally represent romantic love, but it can also be love for your family, your children, that kind of energy, your friends, etc. And it can also represent something you love to do or something you love to be. And this card, yes, they are celebrating, but no one's looking at each other, and they're toasting each other. In many cultures, in particular in Europe, if you toast someone and you don't look them in the eye, they have a very strong suspicion over there that it will cause 7 years bad luck. And so if you don't look them in the eye, they'll be like, look me in the eye. Because no one wants 7 years bad luck in their romantic love life. And so this is certainly defeating the purpose. This card for me quite often represents gossip and slander, and people who are, you know, sometimes happy that something happened to someone else and brought them down kind of energy. My cat Stella has just joined us. Are you here now? Okay, all right. So her job is to sit on my lap and purr. Cat's purr resonates at a very high level. So she, you know, she loves to sit here, and she gets upset if I start a reading without her. I'm sorry I accused you of wrecking my couch. I can see that's not what you were up to. So she's purring away. She's already got happy feet. You may not be able to hear her purr because I have noise canceling mic on, but she's at her. Her motor's going. We have this energy of the Knight of Swords coming in. So the Knight of Swords is either running to this energy or away from this energy. So we'll see what's going on. This is communication coming in. The knights would work for the king and queen to deliver messages from kingdom to kingdom. And, you know, quite often that would be by horse. When communication comes in these days, it's probably going to be more likely by a phone call, a text message. It could be a letter in the mail, an email. Sometimes it's a social media post with that you see, you know, something on social media, maybe an event, and you go to it. Maybe it's this event. It's the full moon, so be careful. That's the energy we're in right now. That's, you know, I don't have a lot of hope for this card. We'll see. Almost every time this card comes up, I want it to be a celebration, but it always turns out to be not so pleasant. And so this energy here is, you know, some information coming in. The thing here is that we are in the season of eclipse right now. And this is what this reading is. I really wanted to do these bonus readings because of this, because it's affecting people in a profound manner. Now, on the 17th of February, Aquarius had a new moon. And in that new moon, so Aquarius, the energy of Aquarius is looking after making the group the first priority, basically. And on the horoscope wheel, directly opposite your sign of Aquarius is Leo. And Leo is about being a leader. So Leo is saying, hey, I need to look after my needs, and I need to be, you know, look, and then I'll be a good leader, and then I will lead the group. And so there was this opposing energy. And so you and Leo were feeling this the most, but a lot of people were feeling it because it was the moon. And at the same time, on that same day, we had the energy of the fiery horse energy moving in for the Chinese New Year for the very first day. It was on the 17th. We moved from the year of the snake into the fiery horse energy. Now the fiery horse energy is really inspiring. It's setting high goals, wanting to achieve, you know, high standards. It's very free-spirited. In matters of love, it's passionate and heartfelt. But the danger with this energy is being impulsive and also being maybe hot-headed, like getting into a temper tantrum kind of energy. You know, if you think about a horse that gets spooked and runs, and all you can do is hang on, it's that kind of energy. So this is exactly the energy you do not want to be in when you are like in this energy right now. And the fiery horse energy will be with us until I think the 5th or 6th of February 2027. So it's not a good time to be impulsive. It's not a good time to get angry and tweet all over the place and then figure out, hey, I shouldn't have said that. and making sure your information is correct. I just posted something and put it on Facebook because it was about leadership and the wolves, how they lead the pack. And then I got a notice that it was incorrect information. So I deleted it all, even though it was, it's not like horribly and inadequate information. It's just that the information was very inspiring, but it's not really the way wolves lead. So I'm going to have to repost something else similar to it. I just felt like now, but I found it really funny because we're right now we're also on the 26th of February. We moved into Mercury retrograde. And, you know, I had come across that post like about 8 years ago, and it popped up on my feed. And now there's been a one of those, you know, how Meta has those checks for misinformation. And it wasn't against community guidelines or anything, but I removed it because I don't want to be bringing any misinformation in at this time. But I was, in my readings, I've been warning everybody about that. And then I did that this morning on an impulse. I saw it and I thought, hey, this is really cool. You know, and then I had to go in and delete everything. I didn't have to actually because it wasn't against community guidelines. But I will repost something else similar to it. I just wanted to send something inspirational out at this time. But I found it really hilarious, actually, because I don't usually impulsively post things. So I'm guilty as charged. But this is talking about that kind of energy. And then it just causes you a bunch of extra work because then you have to go back in and delete everything. That kind of energy. So this is kind of the energy that we're in right now. Mine wasn't that serious, but we're seeing, you know, some with the Epstein files, some emails that were sent out that are causing a lot of people a lot of problems right now, like 3 million of them. We have the situation in Iran, like it's very, you know, the world is going through some major shift right now. And a big part of that, I feel, is like we have to be really careful right now because with Mercury in retrograde, the past comes in, and sometimes people from our past will come rushing in because there's unfinished business, like on an energetic level. And so we have to be like just recognize that people from your past may come in and their information may be only half correct. We have this energy here of the sword being only half shown. And the point isn't here. So what this person is rushing in with information, and it's incorrect information, or it's only half the story kind of information. He's running against the wind, and he is in barren land. So this is the Knight of Swords, is bringing in that information that's inaccurate, and or is running towards this information to give some more inaccurate information to or more gossip, right, basically, and running away from this energy here. So let's see what's going on here. We have the 8 of Pentacles. So the 8, I was going to finish the new moon energy because that was in your sign of Aquarius. So that was going on. We had the year of the fiery horse, and we had an eclipse. So I don't want to forget the eclipse. The eclipse was the solar energy, or a solar eclipse. And so what that means is, from the perspective of the world, from Earth, it looks like Mercury is traveling backwards. And the thing is that Mercury is a planet of communication and healing. And so this is an energy, like when it goes retrograde, and it will be retrograde until the 20th of March, quite often miscommunication comes up. I also had my HVAC system beeping away for 3 or 4 days here, and no one seemed to be able to tell me what was wrong with it. And then I finally did get to the resolution, and have solved the problem for several people in the building. So it's that kind of energy. Technology can malfunction, and information is like, to get to the right person, to find the facts, it's that kind of information. So what's happening here with the 8, and I'm going to move on to continue with the reading, but then I will talk about the full moon eclipse that's coming up tomorrow as I do this reading here. So the Eight of Pentacles is talking about, actually, this is the one pentacle card that is actually talking about making money. And so actually working on the physical coin. And this can represent you just started a project and you're on the second one and you have 6 to go, or you already have 6 done and you're on the 7th and you have 1 more left to go. And but it's saying you've been very focused on making money. Now this is interesting also, because here we have a card, because this is representing, the cups are representing romantic love. And for me, this card quite often represents someone who's moving off from being a couple, like passing through that portal, and you have your right hand on this wand. These represent action. This is the element of fire, and it's talking about action. And this is, for me, it's just, it's not, it's my own, the way I read the cards is talking about someone who's in a couplehood and is deciding to move on as a single person. It doesn't have to be that, but it comes up, and I feel with this card here, it might be a possibility. And so this energy, this person is standing on one horizon, and they're looking over at the opposite horizon, and they are. There's this water here. It looks like sand because it's yellow, but it's actually just the sun, the way the sun is shining on this. It's like the yellow brick road, basically. This is talking about ships coming sailing in. And this person is thinking about hopping on a ship and going on an adventure, like wanting to, this can represent actually changing location, or, you know, moving, as I said, from being in a couple to being single, that kind of energy. It's a profound change that happens. And during an eclipse season, what happens is the weakest area of our life is usually magnified and amplified, and that causes us to have to work on it. And so when we're in that eclipse energy, it's a slow process. It takes about 6 months, but when you look back like 6 months later, you go, wow, that was like a profound experience. It really was a life-changing, it was a significant change in direction in your life. And so this energy we have another eclipse coming up like tomorrow, and it's we're in between these two eclipses right now. And this person's kind of getting ready to hop on one of these ships and go on an adventure. That's the energy. So that might be the energy that you're in, that when you're waiting for some information to come in, and when it does, then you're going to make a decision. And we have here, in the meantime, you're focused on getting your pentacles in order, basically. We have the Magician coming in now. So the Magician is talking about an energetic upgrade. It's when the Fool begins his journey in the major arcana. He starts off at the 0 point, and then at this one, this is the first card after the 0 point. It doesn't necessarily show up for everybody that's as the first card, but it is just in the order that the cards are in the tarot. So this is as above, so below, bringing thoughts and energy from your thoughts down to earth and actually manifesting them to create a beautiful garden to improve the beauty of planet Earth. And this bench here has tools on it, and this represents that you have all the tools that you need. Interestingly enough, the Magician is also wearing an Ouroboros around his waist, which is a snake biting its tail. And this energy, we just moved out of the year of the snake into the year of the fire horse energy. Today would be a great day to let go of anything that you want to shed, because that energy is perfect for the full moon. And remember, the full moon, that energy, and the new moon energy is generally, we'll feel it about 3 days before, and quite often about 3 days after intensely. And so if you're feeling like overly emotional, that's not uncommon at all for the full moon energy. And this one has an eclipse on top of it, so we're all going to really feel it. The whole world is feeling it right now with everything that's happening in the world. So this energy is talking about an energetic upgrade coming in for you. And we also have, okay, so it's saying that now, I feel like this information that comes in has put you in the dark night of the soul. So the dark night of the soul is when something has happened and it's been life-changing, and you're making serious decisions about the way that you're going to live your life from this point forward. This is actually in your position of daily habits and routine, etc. So it's talking about a major change. But what the Hermit does is he goes up to the top of the mountain after having like some really negative information come in this way, and he isolates himself and confers with God, and goes inward and meditates. And then when he has the information that he feels he needs, when his lantern is full of the light of the North Star, the North Star represents your North Node, moving in the direction that your God-given path, destined path for this time on Earth. And when his rod becomes golden from the light of that, then this is representing action. Then he comes down from the mountain, and what he learned up at the top of the mountain, he puts into action. Going from this end around, this is talking about your identity and self-image. You feel like there's a lot of people gossiping right now about your situation, and I do feel it has to do with the Lover, and it is regarding maybe that there was a third party involvement in your relationship. This is talking about abundance and self-worth. So you're waiting to get the full information, because you're waiting to decide which way you're going to go, and how is that going to affect your abundance. In the meantime, you're hard at work, focused on I'm just going to focus on making pentacles right now till I figure this out, so I get it together. Now this energy also speaks about the early communication in life. So you may have been taught from a very young age that you have to work hard for money, you have to stay focused on it, it's the most important thing in life. Basically, that's the kind of energy I'm picking up. We have this is your home and family, your emotional foundation. It could be that you come from a family where your parents separated or parted ways at some point, and you're kind of still healing from that, dealing with that energy. It's affecting the way that you approach adventures, like in love, etc. And maybe have a tendency, like we always say, oh, I'm not going to be like my mom, I'm not going to be like my parents, I'm going to be totally different. And then what happens? We end up in the same situation. So this is talking about you wanting, this is what your desires are, that you want to upgrade this energy. You're not willing to be in a relationship that was like your parents and do that. Like if you want in your romantic life to have stability, I'm getting, and also if you have children or you want to have children, you want them to have that stability. And so this is talking about that energy being upgraded once you make this decision. And then we have, as I said, about your health and daily routines and habits changing significantly from this energy. Well, if you change locations, for sure. And if you're single now instead of a couple, yes. This is talking about the external forces. So when we're dealing with internal forces, our internal forces will be asking questions like, what if? IF, internal forces. What if I do this and they do that? What if they do that and then I have to do this? It's kind of that kind of energy of getting caught in this thinking loop, and not being able to make a decision, and then you finally have to. So this is talking about something that you've wished for. And, if you're wishing for something, it means you don't have it as of yet. This is saying, though, like, stay focused on your work like you have been, because it's going to bring in what you want. It's way more beneficial for you to be doing this than to be doing this. This is the exact energy you do not want to be in, the fire horse energy. Impulsive, knowing only half the facts, that kind of energy, running against the wind kind of energy. Then we have this energy of, this person, his body language, he's really leaking energy here because his feet are turned out wide open. And then he has his arms crossed over his, what would normally be his chest, but he has them lower. So it's like his, he's not covering his heart. So this is interesting because it's more like an infinity symbol here. So this is talking about, this person is probably, this is talking about a public figure. So that kind of external, like this is an external force coming in that is someone that's known to the public eye. You might be known to the public eye as well, but this is an external force coming in, and this is something that you've always wished for. We have the cups, like, you know, these represent a cup of love, like for, okay, so, you know, for the person that is your partner, that they love you and you love them. That when you have children, they're healthy and happy, and you live in, you love where you live, and you love the home that you live in, and you love the community, and you love your work, and you love the people you work with, and you love the clients, etc. So it's having like that fulfillment, and it's the promise of being highly favored to have that. But it's saying you have to stay focused and stay in the game. Now is not a good time to buckle, because many a person loses the race in the last lap because they lose focus. So cross that finish line. Basically, it's saying stay focused until you actually cross the finish line. Okay, so we have in your position of commitment, marriage, and partnership, we have this card. So you can see when you look at this card, that's not good. And so this information coming in, as half-assed as it is saying there was sabotage, and there was a third-party involvement in your relationship. And while you were busy, you know, what do they say? When the cat's away, the mice will play kind of energy. And so this is, this can represent a decade of this kind of energy. Maybe on an annual basis, your partner put another one in your back, basically. So this is talking about a collaborated effort, probably with other people, to take you down behind your back, basically. And it's not a small amount of effort. It's 10 swords. Like this is, yeah, I mean, you're down on the ground. This is the intention, is to take from you what is your hard work, basically here, and upgrade their energy instead of your own. This is talking, it could be, interestingly enough, when we moved from 2025 into 2026, the energy was, the 2 plus 2 plus 5 is a 9-year. It's the end of a cycle. And so it represented not just moving from 2025 into 2026. 2026 is 2 plus 2 plus 6 is 10. And so this is an energy of a cycle ending, a new beginning starting. And this energy, when we moved from 2025 into 2026, we were actually not just moving into another year, we were moving into a brand new cycle that lasts about a decade. And so this was like for a decade, possibly you were being sabotaged the whole time with the person that you were with. And also this can represent like 10 times they've done it to you, 10 times 10 with 9 other people. And also it can represent 10 groups doing it all together. Depends on how public you are, basically. This is also talking about having this eclipse season. You know, when there's the dark and the light and we don't know all the facts. But this person, even though you're down on the ground here, this energy is talking about, this right hand is in the form of a blessing. And this is the energy that the Hierophant is in. And the Hierophant has, like, this is a blessing in disguise energy. So this is a blessing in disguise for you to give. Like, it's not a pleasant truth to come to, but man, you needed to know the truth here. And it's kind of like now, like, you have to face it. This is in your partnership commitments and marriage house right here. So this is talking about from someone that was a romantic relationship with you, and the information may have come in like, oh, this is what's been happening. And look at this. Interesting. So now this is in the position of transition. This card is considered, okay, there's a few things coming up with this card. This card is considered to be like the marriage card of the tarot. So this is talking about the beginning of this fulfillment. And it's talking about, you know, it's talking about, okay, like you have the down payment for your castle, but you still have to make the mortgage payments. You've met the person that you want to actually marry, and they've, you know, said yes, or you've said yes, and now you're having the wedding and planning that, but then you have to work on the actual relationship to have this fulfillment happen. What's also coming up here is because when we're in the moon energy and it's really intense as it is right now, it makes us highly intuitive. So I feel that there was a lot of, you were having a lot of intuitive hits, but you just didn't want to believe that it was like this bad. You maybe had an inkling. You may have even hired a private detective or something. Sometimes this energy can talk about that. But what's interesting here is I feel like the universe was trying to tell you, and now that you're highly intuitive, and this information has come in with this moon, like this in-between energy between these two eclipses. This is talking about having strong intuition. This is actually kind of a portal that you can enter called the 111-11-11 portal, which is an energy of, it's a kind of a phenomena. It's the way that the universe will sometimes communicate with us through numbers. And the 111-11-11 is best described like this. You're sitting at your computer and you're working away, and you glance at the clock and you realize, oh, it's 11:11. And so you think, oh, right, I have that appointment at 1:30. I better look up where it is and how long it takes to get there. You go to Google Maps, and it's at 111 11th Avenue, and you're like, oh, that's weird. And then you look, oh, it's 11 minutes from here. On your way out the door, you glance at the clock and you see, oh, it's 1:11, and like, oh, okay. Get in your vehicle, you're driving to your appointment, and there's a detour, but the car in front of you has a license plate with 111 on it. This is the way the universe tries to get our attention sometimes, through synchronicity. And it is talking about when this is happening with the 111 portal, it's saying, pay very close attention to your thoughts right now, because you're manifesting at a high level. You want to pay attention to where you want to go, not to the problems in getting there. And you'll start to notice then when the 111-11-11 pops up in your head, or you see it on a license plate or whatever, that you'll notice, oh my goodness, I was having a really bad thought there. I was having a negative thought and didn't even realize it, because that becomes a bad habit. And so then you correct yourself. And the more you correct yourself, the more your thoughts become in alignment with where you want to be, rather than where you don't want to be. And so this is the 111-11-11. And I just wanted to point that out to you. And this is coming up in your position of transition, and secrets coming out. And I think it's regarding your marriage, but I feel like it's also talking about that you still have an opportunity to get married. This is like needing to correct this situation, get out of this situation, and then move forward so that you have what you really want to have. And I feel like it's actually even close on the horizon here. Yeah, look at this. We have the Three of Swords. So this kind of card kind of speaks for itself. We have 3 swords in this heart. And when you look at it, it's like disturbing, but then you realize, okay, it's bad, but the swords are really quite small compared to the size of the heart. So these could be more like nails or pinpricks, and that maybe you can recover from this energy. And so this is talking about like that third party being driven in between a couple. It can talk about a lot of malicious gossip and, projecture. This can also talk about not being able to speak your truth, and someone else not speaking the truth to you that's very close to you. So this energy is in your higher learning. So yes, you've learned the facts of what was going on in your relationship while you were hard at work. And then we have this energy of another message coming in. Now this is from the Page of Swords. So this is interesting again too, because this is talking about the Page of Swords is a younger version of this Knight of Swords. The pages would work for the king and queen. generally from around the age of 7 to 14. And they would come from the surrounding families, like of upper class people. And they would go an apprentice to work in the palace. And then if they were really good at it, they would end up, when they were 21, being considered for knighthood, as long as they could afford a horse. So it's really interesting that this energy is talking about this being someone that's been in your life since at least around the age of 7 to 14. So it could be someone that you met in elementary school way back then. This can represent an energy of a breath of fresh air coming in, a new idea, a new way of being. This element here of is about mental intelligence and your ability to discipline your mind. The sword is a double-edged sword. It's talking about you need to have an open mind. You need to be able to use your intuition as well as your logic to come to creative solutions. So he is actually not, he's the only page that's not totally focused on his element, because he already has the thought. He knows what the question is. Now he's looking away because he's thinking into the future. He's thinking outside the box, basically. And so this energy is talking like very similar to a golfer, this pose. And when I see this, I always think, golf is a very mental sport. So, if you have a bad hole, first hole in the game, you could spiral downwards and have like a really bad game and be throwing your club and, that kind of energy. And so this is talking more about the energy of being able to discipline your mind. So you have a bad hole in the first hole, but then the next one you have a hole in one because you refocus and realign your energy. And so it can be a breath of fresh air coming in. It's not the most pleasant truth that you're receiving here, as we can see. But having said that, it's a blessing in disguise, because at least now you have the truth, so you can move forward in your life in a true way, rather than wasting more time in this situation. And yeah, you decide to walk away. That's basically, and now we have this other eclipse coming in. So, we have 5 cups here, and then we have these 3. And so it looks like the relationship seemed to be going along really well until the last possible 3 years. And this can represent, the couple, you and your partner as a couple, and the third party, causing a division. And so you're walking away from this energy. This could be these 3 cups, the gossip and all of that around it. And this could even represent the person that was involved in this energy. Low-flying witches, they like to come out on especially the full moon. So, beware of low-flying witches at this time. They have sharp tongues and they're full of shift. That's the kind of energy that we're dealing with here. So you've walked away from this energy and are moving on. Now I'm going to talk about this full moon that we have coming up. It's a blood moon because it's actually a lunar eclipse. So for a short period of time, the sun is shining on the moon and blocking out the moon's rays, and it turns the moon red. And it's quite a sight to see, actually. This energy is, the moon is in the sign of Virgo. The Virgo energy wants you to clean up your domestic life, imagine that, and get things in order so that you can move forward into the next phase. So I feel like this is representing when you heal from this. I feel like you've already healed from it. I feel like you were already kind of not enjoying you're maybe working more than being home because of this energy, or contributed to this energy, however that is. And but this is saying basically Virgo energy wants you to clean up your domestic life to support your health and wealth and happiness in your lifestyle, and being able so that your home life actually supports your work life, and your work life supports your home life. And that, you would hope that your partner actually was supportive of you and wasn't juggling morals, but it looks like there was some juggling of morals here. This energy of this full moon is very powerful right now because of the eclipse on top of it. And it's also the energy opposing Virgo is the Pisces energy that is opposite on the wheel from you. And so the Pisces energy is more like dreamy and forgiving and, oh, things will be okay, and being optimistic and that kind of energy. Oh, things always work out. But this energy is very different right now because also Neptune just moved in. Neptune rules Pisces. And Saturn and Neptune both do. And it's a big planet and it has a big pull on us. And Neptune has been in the sign of Pisces for 14 years. And Pisces is very comfortable being, or Neptune is very comfortable in Pisces because that's the sign that it rules. And so this energy has been kind of like, oh, things will work out kind of energy for the last 14 years. But now, it's on the 26th of January, it moved into the sign of Aries. So Pisces is like the last sign in the zodiac, and it's, like the energy of the senior executive, and it's now moved into the sign of Aries, and Aries is the newborn infant. And you think about that energy. Neptune is about our idealism. How do we approach life? How do we approach work and our home life and, just people in general, and how do we approach life in general? And now everything that we learned from this Piscean energy for 14 years, it's a wash because it's totally opposite energy now, and we have to relearn it in the sign of Aries. Now Aries is ruled by Mars, and Mars is an aggressive planet. So this is in our face, like right now. And then Saturn on top of it, just about a week ago, joined Neptune in the sign of Aries for at least 2.5 years or so right now. And so this is like a lot of people are feeling this, and we're seeing this displayed on the planet with the Epstein files and now what's going on in Iran. And so it's really, really, really interesting energy. And it's got a powerful effect on us. We have, and this King of Wands has been showing up a lot in the readings. And because this is talking about being the King of Wands is representing being a visionary, someone that looks into the future, someone that embraces the new, always looking for new energy and new ideas and new ways to make life better. That's the embodiment of the Knight or the King of Wands. He's also considered to be the sexiest king out of all the kings, the kind of guy you wouldn't kick out of bed for eating crackers. You could forgive this dude for anything because he's charming and he's a lot of fun and he's optimistic. Like he has a good point of view in life. His element is fire. His wand is made of wood, representing the tree, deep roots with the ancestors, and considering the offshoots, the descendants. Also, if you notice here, we have the energy of the salamanders chasing their tail and a lion here, and that represents protection from fire. And so this energy could just mean this King of Wands is smoking hot, or it could mean, hey, where there's smoke, there's fire. This king of all the kings is most likely to be a player, like playing the field in romantic life, because he has a visionary eye. He's always looking into the future for new. And so sometimes that does affect his love life. So this could be an external force that was involved in your life. It doesn't have to be a certain sign or whatever, but it's that energy coming in. So I'm going to clarify this now with my oracle. For those of you that are, okay, no, I'm good, I've got it now, I've got to go. I hope you've enjoyed this reading and you have received some value from it. Give it a like and comment if you have. I would really appreciate it. It really does help me build my channel. Also, consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy. I would be honored. I am going to now start clarifying with my oracle, and my oracle is Tales from the Vector. I do have a website, talesfromthevector.com, and in the information box below, in the description box, I will put the information the numbers on these cards represent a series of paintings I did for this oracle. And I will have the numbers that are on these cards are the numbers that how they're listed in my gallery on that website. So the information, I will put them in the order they appear here, so you know which dragons to look for. A lot of them are dragon paintings. So this is from the Intergalactic Federation of Light. And what is really interesting, and it got me on this kind of looking into this eclipse thing even more, is back in 2007, on March 3rd, there was almost identical energy to this eclipse energy right now that we're experiencing. And if you look back to 2007 on March 3rd, what was going on in your life, it may give you a lot of clarity. Funnily enough, that's right at the time that I started working on this oracle. It's taken me 19 years to complete it, or to bring it out at this point, because I was there was 64 paintings for one thing, and it's from the Intergalactic Federation of Light, which represents the energy of dragons from the future coming in with information from all parts of the world and from the universe. And so I was, teaching a lot of seminars at that time, and just didn't have the time to work on the paintings. They're 3 feet by 4 feet, a lot of them, and they're detailed. So I finally did complete them all in 2020, and now I'm working on bringing this out, and I'm working on the information that goes with it. So I found that really interesting, because that was I've been working on this thing for that long, and just really enjoying. I'm an artist, so it gave me something to paint. My imagination would bring up the next dragon, and that was coming in, and I would, oh, this one's from Italy, and this one's from wherever, whatever place in the planet or in the universe, and all the information that would come with it. And so I had a lot of fun with it, and now I'm bringing that out. Having said that, on top of that energy, what I want to point out, there was 2 other dates that I found that this eclipse had the same, very similar energy, and I found this really wild. For one thing, in 2007, it was the time, we have all these Epstein files coming out, and a lot of people are talking about the Pizzagate, and I missed that. I don't know. I didn't have it. I don't watch the news that much generally, or back then especially I didn't. And in 2007, that's when the FBI first identified the different symbols in that regarding Pizzagate. That's coming up in such a big way now. And also, the other dates that showed up was 1980. And so in 1980, I was actually backpacking it through Australia from Canada. And I had planned to go for 4 months, and I ended up staying for 1.5 years, because back then it was easier and you could get visas where you worked, and you worked a little bit here and there, and a lot of people were backpacking in those days. And so I had to leave the country and come back in after 9 months, and I could get another 9 months in Australia. So that's what I did. I loved Australia. And so I went to Bali, Indonesia, I think for 3 weeks, and then re-entered Australia, and I was able to stay for another 9 months. I left on the very last day, and we had plane problems, and I had to spend an extra night in Brisbane. Went out partying with a bunch of people on the plane. It was a lot of fun. But I really didn't want to leave Australia. And I thought that was, it changed my life in such a big way, and it caused me to really make my priority traveling and seeing more of the world. While I was in Australia, it was one of the 7 wonders of the world was at that time, the Barrier Reef. I got my scuba diving ticket and went diving in the Barrier Reef. And I was like, oh, I'm going to go see some more of these wonders of the world. And that's what I kind of set my intention on. And so for almost a decade, I would work 2 or 3 jobs and work my butt off. And then when I had enough money, I would go on another adventure. And it really, that changed my life in 1980. And this same eclipse energy was happening then. And also in 1988 is also very significant. But going back to 1980 for a second here, It was in 1979 that Khomeini took control of Iran. And now we're seeing that energy being played out on the world scale right now in this same kind of eclipse energy, which I found, wow, that's kind of wild. And then in 1988 was another date. So 1988, I was looking, hey, what was I doing? Well, that was the last year that I was single, because by 1990, I was married and I had a baby. So my life significantly changed. And so that's the kind of energy, and I wanted to point that out to people, because this is really a really good opportunity to get your ducks in line and really be in a position of moving forward in a real strong way that you want to. So let's get back to the rest of the reading here. So this is saying the guiding light is your North Star. So use your intuition at this time to be able to move forward in the direction you want. The Wheel of Fortune is turning, and there's a synchronicity here, and that's being represented here. We have the energy of the need to be right. So do you have to be right to be happy? Making mountains out of molehills. I don't think you're making a mountain out of a molehill, but with this energy, you could stay in a feeling of like resentment. I need to be right, and I need for all of these people to say that I was, I was right and they were wrong kind of energy. And it's a waste of time. So you may as well just move on from it now that you have the truth. Having the courage to face the truth. And being able to stay in your integrity is why you're going to be rewarded in a really strong way. We have the Pisces energy coming in. So when the horoscope signs come in on a reading like this, that's a general collective reading, I'm not talking about specific people. I'm talking about the energy of that sign and what can we learn from it, the state of being. So we already talked about this Pisces energy and how it's opposing this energy of the Virgo moon right now in this eclipse. We have surrender. So this is talking about surrendering to God's plan, actually, into the universe, and noticing sometimes when our ancestors are trying to get in touch with this, they'll try to come in through dreams and through technology. And sometimes you'll feel a bit of a cold breeze in the air when they're around. And ego. So this is another karmic space, and this is kind of keep your ego in check. And what that means is our ego will quite often say, oh, you're just an individual, you can't do anything, you're not important, especially when we fall into this kind of energy. So look after yourself, Aquarius. This is like you are significant. Keep your ego in check. We have mother's worry. Yeah, maybe your mother was trying to tell you and you weren't listening. Mothers are always right, isn't that the way? But I feel like this is more on a broader sense, saying that a lot of people on the planet, a lot of people refer to Earth as Mother Earth, and that a lot of people are really concerned, rightfully so, with what's going on the planet right now. We have abuse of power, which can be a karmic space of, once we become attached to something, and we don't want to, we need to be right. So we'll be right even if we're wrong kind of energy, and our ego will keep us there. That's when we can get really into abuse of power. So we're seeing a lot of abuse of power out there, for sure. But we're all capable of that, and we need to recognize that. It's a karmic space that human beings fall into very easily. So it's a warning, you don't abuse your power. This is the Hierophant, traditional structure. So this is, the Hierophant brings justice in from the spiritual realm down to the physical world. And this is talking about that structure coming in for you, especially in regards to your marriage, your commitment, and your partnership here. We have the Hangman here. So the Hangman hanging from the tree of knowledge until he gets the enlightenment, similar to the Hermit energy. This is talking about having balance. I do feel like this card, what it's saying is you can still have this, just not with this person, basically. And dissemination of information. As when there's an elephant in the room and you're like, elephant? What elephant? Love is blind, forgive yourself. But dissemination of information is when you actually start believing your own press. And so a lot of people will say to people when they're trying to motivate them or make them feel better, you know, you have to believe in yourself. But recognize that many times people have limiting beliefs about themselves, that I'm not like, I'm unlovable. Every time I get in a relationship, this shift happens, that kind of energy. So be careful what you do believe in yourself. Make sure that it's actually true. And then we have the judgment coming in, unfettered. So being in a place of, this is God's judgment. And so what this is saying is that it's the cosmic heart energy, basically. And, you know, only God knows what people have gone through. We don't really know, so it would be very difficult for us to judge why would someone do this. And it's really not, it's just more beneficial to understand it's been done. You could ask that question, why, for your whole life and never get an answer. Dissension is, with friends like this, who needs enemies? Swimming with sharks. This is saying that this could have even been a friend or a family member that was involved in this, and or they knew about it and they just didn't tell you. And so that brings up a whole new level of distrust. I feel that a tower has come in or will be coming in very soon regarding this, so that you can get to the truth and move forward. And so, yeah, it might be like that you end up getting divorced, and then down the road you'll find someone that is more suitable for you. It's about learning your lessons from life, and then moving forward in a stronger way into the future. So this was a very good reading, Aquarius. You know, it's intense energy for sure, but at least now if you have the truth coming in, you'll be in a better position to move forward in a strong way. I do hope you've received benefit from this. Please do give it a like and comment if you have. Consider subscribing if you resonate with the energy, and I will be back with another reading for you regarding the middle of March. Bye for now. Okay, little kitty.